Okay, so we discovered that in the last video that this shape is exporting some transformation information to the actual soft mod. If I hover over that connection, it will tell me what connection is being made. So if I can also frame this up if I want to, but if well, basically just read that text that pops up, and I'll show you how to see the actual connection here in a second. That is the actual connection, but you can't change it right there. Okay, let's see what else there is. Okay, we have a world matrix from the handle to the softmod 1 matrix. Okay, so there's some interaction between these nodes, and we can see what that interaction is here in the hypergraph inputs-outputs editor. You can also see this sort of information in the hypershade if you change your settings a little bit. Okay, so if we select all 3 of these nodes and frame it again, we get even more, and it gets kind of hairy, right? Well, I won't spend much time on this, but basically this is the entire ball. Like all the information, these are all the connections that we've made so far that we haven't had to do manually. It did it for us as we created different deformers and things. So like, here's my bend. There's my squash. Okay? Here's my lattice. And so there's things to look for. You can see patterns in this craziness. That Maya typically likes to frame all this stuff the same way, as long as it can. So anyway, here's the squash, the bend, the lattice, and the soft mod. So this is also the input history. Remember we had the inputs editor, and we could change the order of this? The inputs editor is really smart. It actually allows you to rearrange this graph just by dragging and rearranging the list in the inputs editor. Okay, and then while we're in here, just as a side note, this is your original ball. It even calls it ball shape orig for original. It's what we call an intermediate object. It always exists on deformed meshes or meshes with history. What it does is Maya has to reference that object to know, it has to know where it's been to know where to put it in current time, and it has to pass through all these different deformers that are controlling the different vertices of that mesh, so it can decide what shape it is in the end. And so the very last thing that we'll see is the ball shape. I accidentally double-clicked that. So there's the ball shape, and that would have been the last. My mouse double-clicks for me. So anyway, there's that. That's all that history. Okay, so we'll select these soft mods, and we'll get it back to how it was. Okay, so we were going to learn how to harness this stuff. I selected the nodes that I wanted to have the information for, and I click up here where it says input output connections, and it is context sensitive to whatever you have selected. It's only going to show you inputs and outputs for the things you have selected. So I could get that other stuff back again if I select all 3 of these, and it's going to show me inputs and outputs for all of them. That gets me back to where I was. Okay, we won't be in here a whole lot during the semester, so don't panic, but we will be in here a little bit. There are some things that just cannot be done other ways. Okay, so I'm going to pause our video for now, and we're going to explore this as a class and see if we can't figure out how to harness it.